Boy, oh boy, Mark Madden and Ric Flair. Have you guys been following this one? Check out this clip as Mark Madden was on the Keepin It 100 podcast with Conan and Disco, talking all about the situation. Check out this clip.
I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but I will say the whole thing makes me very sad because we were friends for 35 years. And he contacted me the day after it happened via text and wanted to try to salvage, I forget what the exact verbiage was, but I got a message to him through Conrad Thompson saying, hey, you humiliated me in public, apologize in public. And he's just never going to be willing to do that. And I don't care at this point because, honestly, it hasn't been fun being his friend for a long time. No one has aged less gracefully than Ric Flair. And I'm not going to get insulting or personal, but that's just the fact. And you look at the people he doesn't talk to anymore. He doesn't talk to Arn Anderson anymore. He doesn't talk to Hunter anymore. He doesn't talk to his son David anymore. He doesn't talk to HBK anymore. He's separated from his wife, Wendy, his fifth wife, who shepherded him through that recovery from that near-death experience. And he left her because he just wants to have fun. He's a 73-year-old man, and, he's doing that kind of stuff. I mean, I feel bad for the guy. Like I said on Twitter, and I'm not going to walk back. He was given that gift of life after he survived a few years ago, and now he's drinking like crazy again and has been for quite some time. So,
oh boy, do I have opinions on this one. See, this is the kind of stuff that, I get excited to do this show and I get to talk about stuff like this because I've felt a certain way about Ric Flair for quite a while now, and I think it's time to rant about it a little bit. But let's put everything in perspective, all right? You heard Madden's clip. You heard what he had to say on Keepin It 100. I know a lot of you have a certain way that you feel about Mark Madden, right? Because Mark Madden, not the most likable guy in the world. Let's just be honest about it, right? Kind of a tool at times. But you know what? He is a great wrestling character. He's a natural fucking heel. He's so unlikable. If he could be a commentator, when he was a commentator at the time, or even if he was in a management role, but just doing the podcast, I kind of liked the dynamic of him being a host with Ric Flair. Ric Flair he's not the greatest to do a podcast with. Madden said that. Rick doesn't really know how to do a podcast. He doesn't really have any knowledge or information. Doesn't want to talk about the past because no one cares about it, but doesn't know shit about the future, so can't really give any input on that. So, So all of this started with a couple of tweets, and we're kind of jumping around here at this point because you've already heard Mark Madden's rebuttal and everything that he had to say about it and his thoughts. But let's just kind of see how this developed. I have these tweets screenshotted here. Hopefully they are in order. So Mark Madden, all of this started when Madden had made a post. This was on March 27th on his Twitter account. I am leaving the Flair Uncensored podcast effective immediately. It's not a good fit for me, especially scheduling the prep and taping during my jam-packed work week. Thanks to Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, and at Pod Heat, whatever the fuck that is that the network they're on? I don't know. For the opportunity and for understanding. Classy. That is a classy exit from a podcast, let me tell you. Okay? So, Rick follows up. Love and appreciate you, Mark. But actually, I relieved you of your duties. Best of luck with your work. I'll be back and better than ever next Monday. Going home to my son-in-law. Hey, it's Conrad. Madden replies, back at you and thank you for getting shit-faced every single night like you are now. You are the greatest wrestler ever. What you've become is sad. And to that, Ric Flair replies, Mark, it's so sad. You've been telling everyone for 30 years that I'm the greatest wrestler ever. Quit trying to get the rub that made you who you are. Look forward to hearing you on the Pat McAfee show. Oh, wait, sorry. He canceled you too. Just be happy and enjoy life. So then Mark replies, okay, that's true, and now, soon, I can tell the whole real story, like how we lost the deal with Podcast One. Love and appreciate you too, but hey, as long as we're telling the truth, truth is always good, right? Watch this space. Ooh. He continues. 1 week, I want the podcast to be current, says Ric Flair. Next week, who's Jay White? Never heard of him. For fuck's sakes. Then we have the drama continues. Madden replies, have another drink. God gave you the gift of life a few years back, and you thank him by getting shit-faced every single night, like you are right now. You are the greatest wrestler of all time. What you've become is sad. Mark continues, listen, I am so sorry it came to this, but I'm not the reason it came to this. I took the high road, and he couldn't do that. He lied to me, then embarrassed me. Fuck that. I don't give a fuck who he is. And then finally, Rick was planning to work at AEW till the Dark Side episode. Not sure what Tony Khan thought. Khan doesn't talk to Rick now. Disinvited Rick from his birthday party. Alright, so there's a lot to unpack here. And of course, Twitter drama is my forte because we are a show that talks about wrestling outside the ring. And this is a juicy topic. So, look, this kind of public stupid shit doesn't need to be done, right? All this can happen in private, if they want to bitch at each other in private. And look, as I said earlier, Mark did take the high road. Like his exit first, I am leaving the podcast. It's not a good fit for my schedule. Just leave it at that, right? Just let it go. Let Mark tell the world one thing and hide the real reason why he's leaving the pod. Save face. Let him save face. Who cares? Rick, right? You get to move on, do the show with Conrad. Madden gets to move on. Nobody really thinks anything of it. But no, you probably were shit-faced, and you had to jump in and give your 2 cents and be like, no, actually, I fired your bitch ass. Fuck you, fatty. There was no need for that. And Rick probably was drunk. So then at that point, as was addressed on the Keepin It 100 podcast, Mark Madden is not the guy you want to fuck with on Twitter or get into a verbal back and forth with, especially if he has dirt on you. Look, Mark Madden will fucking bury your ass. He was classy. He did it the right way. Rick should have left it there. I don't like the way that Rick had to jump in and bury Mark publicly. I don't think many people feel bad for Mark Madden because he's always rubbed everybody the wrong way his whole career. But that's his gimmick. I'm true to real life, I'm sure. I don't think he's faking it. But that's his gimmick, nonetheless, right? He's a personality. He's an abrasive asshole fucking pundit in sports and wrestling, but that's why he's on the radio. People like that shit. Okay? He was a good fit for wrestling too. I still believe that. He should be doing a wrestling podcast or involved in some capacity because he's entertaining and not likable, which is a great combination, right, MJF? So my beef in this whole thing, if I were to point the proverbial finger at somebody, Ric Flair, man. Madden had said, on Keepin It 100, Rick doesn't talk to Sean anymore. He doesn't talk to Hunter anymore. He doesn't talk to Arn anymore. Rick gets offended by everybody, all of a sudden, like he went on a public fucking rant about WWE didn't fucking call him and check on him during his divorce. Honestly? Really? How many companies did you used to work for that calls to check on you after your divorce? Right? The company is not your friend. We were never your friend, Rick. Huh? Feels good, huh? It wasn't necessary. And all his shit with Becky Lynch. Oh, I'm the man. I'm the real man. I gotta protect my shit. Woo! Like you're picking on a fucking girl that you're fucking 4 times older than. Now, I get you want to support your daughter, and if your daughter's beefing with Becky, you're going to take your daughter's side. I 100% agree with that. I understand. I do. I really do. But there's a point where you are supportive of your daughter and where you're just being a fucking obnoxious douchebag for no reason. You're being a tool. And the sad thing is that Ric was given a second chance at life. On top of already being the most respected professional wrestler, arguably, in the entire business. Legendary. His career speaks for itself. He's not overrated. He's not overhyped. He is one of, if not the greatest of all time. Sure, his matches were paint by numbers, but he was also doing them in every town around the country, and they weren't always televised. Different audience every night, going an hour Broadway. He was the champ. And then he almost dies. And a lot of that has to do with his own bullshit lifestyle that he lived. And you know what? Fine. I don't even fault him for that. Have fun while you're alive. We're all going to die someday. If you truly want to spend it out partying all the time, to the extent that you have 4 fucking ex-wives, which are all due to the fact that Ric Flair likes to go out drinking and doesn't really have any kind of responsibility while he's out drinking. He may end up pulling his dick out and trying to waggle it in front of somebody. He might end up banging some fucking old broad somewhere. He might end up pissing himself. He's Ric Flair, okay? He's the Nate, and he's out Nate-ing. And he was given the second chance at life after he almost died. I mean, he kicked out at 2 3/4, folks. He did. It was shocking, right? It was Jim Ross going, "Oh, by God, I swore he had him." But he didn't. He kicked out. And he was told that he couldn't really drink anymore, or if he were to drink, that he's got to keep it very light. And he said he was for a little bit. He was thankful to everybody that, you know, gave their thoughts and prayers to Ric when he was on death's fucking doornail. And now he's out fucking drinking every night still. He's divorcing his wife, according to Mark Madden. I don't know. I don't know the guy personally. I wasn't there. But according to Mark Madden on the Keepin It 100 podcast, Ric is leaving his wife, or his wife chose to leave him, because Ric just wants to go out and fucking party every night. That's all he wants to do. He wants to go out and be the Nate. I want a Nate. Go Nate-in. That's what I do. Fine, if that's what you want to do. Ruin another marriage. Pay more fucking alimony. And this was the chick that supported you when you were dead. You were dying. She was there for you. Now she's not good enough. Alcohol's good enough. And that's an addiction to an extent. So I'm not even going to go that hard on that. But Ric Flair, since then, since he started drinking again, he's been coming out and just being bitter at people, expecting things from people. Like, he's just a douchebag. Everything that he says online, he's picking fights with people, or he's offended by somebody didn't do something for him the right way. Fucking, how hard he went on Becky Lynch. Like, all of this shit is intolerable for a man of his age. It's just not. Okay, then he has this podcast that gets 10 episodes in? And I liked it. I listened to it with Madden. I liked Madden, personally. I liked the Madden aspect of it more than I liked Flair. I liked that Madden had a wrestling podcast. I feel like, I don't always like what he has to say. I don't mostly like what he has to say. But I like him as a personality. So I want him to have a podcast. But beyond that, he's got this podcast with Ric. This is already, the second, third time that Ric's trying to do a podcast. Why are you even bothering at this point? Because you couldn't hold it together when you had one with Conrad. And you were fucking, Conrad had said that Ric's just not a good guy to do a podcast with. He's can't quite stick to a schedule sometimes. And you're not in the mood always. And, Madden said it, but it's true. If you go back and listen to those episodes, sometimes getting an interview, getting a podcast out of Ric is like pulling teeth. He turns the camera on and sits there and he's just like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, what can you say? It's like, why are you doing a podcast then? You got nothing to say. You literally have no words. What's the point? But Madden, try as he may, tried to pull it out of him. So now Flair's like, well, I'm going to go back to Conrad. And we had heard Conrad did an interview on wrestling I covered a few weeks ago. And wrestling, Brandon Walker had asked him if he was going to do any more podcasts because he's been doing a million of them. And he's like, yeah, actually I got another one going to be announced somewhere around WrestleMania time. Well, is this it or was there another one? Was this planned this far? And look, it already didn't work out with Conrad once and Rick. And Madden had said, I wish I never would have went into business with Rick. It was fun. I liked the guy. I considered him a friend. Maybe Rick didn't consider me a friend, but I considered him a friend. And, this podcast ruined that. It grew us apart. Probably because Rick was so goddamn horrible at podcasting, horrible at getting fucking to be there on time, and difficult in general to just work with. I want to do a show like this. I don't want to do a show like that. I don't know. Right? Fucking Rick. Thinking the world revolves around Ric Flair. So now he wants to go back and do another one with Conrad? It's not going to last. Conrad's already too busy. And what's he going to get fucking Paul Bromwell to do a podcast with Rick? That's not going to work. Conrad's great. He's the podfather, right? If anybody can get a serviceable podcast out of Rick, it's going to be Conrad. But I don't think it's going to work. I think Nate is going to be too Natey for this podcast to continue. But I'm going to cover it here. I'm definitely going to be listening. Apparently, this week was like a rerun episode. Apparently, they are going to be starting to go live next week and kind of pick up where they left off or pick up a new. It almost hurts my heart a little bit because I don't hate Ric Flair. I don't have any beefs with Ric Flair. I've always loved and respected and appreciated who Ric Flair was. If you go back, and I almost pulled it fucking down because it was a risky take to have in this cancel culture era, but I even somewhat slightly stuck up for Rick during that whole Dark Side of the Ring shit. More for Tommy Dreamer, because I feel like he was unfairly targeted, when it really should have been the brunt, however you say it, the brunt of everything should have been addressed to Rick. But, he walked away barely unscathed, other than he was probably going to be, Chavo was leaving AEW at that same time, and we all kind of thought well, Rick's going to come in and manage Andrade. That makes sense. And of course that never happened. And he was, Rick was uninvited from Tony's something or ever birthday or fucking bar mitzvah. Who knows? But it's just sad to me. I like Ric Flair. I don't want him. He seems bitter and entitled and self-centered and as a 70-some-year-old man who damn near died, and you're on borrowed time, you're given a second chance by God, a third chance, because the motherfucker was in a plane crash. So this man has had all the opportunity in the world to make the most out of life. And look, I can be a bitter, angry fuck at times too. I think we all can. Life gets to us, right? There's times where I'm like, you know what? Fuck you, and fuck this, and fuck that. But then, I chill out, and I relax, and I realize, that, not everything's so bad, and not everything revolves around me, and all those stuff that I realized in my 30s that Ric Flair should be realizing in his 70s. He's digressing, he's regressing into a fucking little child. A petulant little self-centered fucking brat. Thinks nothing of himself. He doesn't care about his friends and family when he goes out drinking. Everybody was so sad when he was going to die. And everybody was there for him, and everybody was giving their thoughts and prayers. And this man kicked out at 2 3/4, and he fucking goes right back to the bottle. He was told, don't drink. And again, it's an addiction. I understand. And This is who Ric Flair is, and this is what makes him happy, is being the nature boy. I understand that too. I don't know that Ric Flair knows who Ric Flair is. Ric Flair is, right? I don't know that he's been the Nate his whole life. And if he's not out naching and being the Nate and fucking spilling drinks and wearing gold and wooing and shit, then he's not living his best life. And that's fine. But what about all these people that were there for you when you were going to die because of all of that? It's a slap in everybody's face. Like, dude, like, be there for them. Ride out the end of your days to be happy for Charlotte some more and just support her and to give back to the wrestling business and contribute and he's just burying talent. Oh, I don't know who that guy is, or I didn't really see much in him ever, or this bitch stole my gimmick name. This is my gimmick name. I'm the man, even though I was the man fucking 40 years ago at this point. It's sad. It's fucking sad. I want to see Ric Flair do better. I love the man. I appreciate the man. I respect the man. But I think he's being a fucking giant douchebag. I think he has been for quite some time. He's on borrowed time, and he's just pissing it away, being a bitter, fucking self-entitled douchebag. And that's my take, and maybe you have a different opinion. I don't know. But I will keep you posted. I will follow up, and we'll see what that first podcast back with Conrad is like, and just kind of keep tabs on things going forward. Woo! Let me tell you something, brother. You can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on this channel, dude. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to take your vitamins and say your prayers, brother.